So once again, having the same mentality as the offense and the defense. Sometimes special teams excellence requires that you go beyond. Okay, the thing that special teams coordinators like myself have to, I think, obsess about is the depth chart. Because there's one injury can make a huge difference in terms of your depth chart. And secondly, every year the struggle is having the right guys on the field. Where is the R4? Who's missing? You get 10 guys, right? And it happens on kickoff and kickoff return, which I can't understand, right? I understand a little bit if it's a sudden change, right? and so your quarterback throws a pick six, and now a PAT field goal block has to get on the field. That's probably the hardest special team to get in consistently the right guys, but there's still no excuse, right? If a guy goes down, one of the things we talk about is owning your position, like owning your little piece of real estate. That's your business. So you and me, we're the R4 people. And if I go down with a broken leg or get severed, I'm going to make sure somebody knows that the other business partner that I have, we own this position together, is going to know about it. All right? Or if you're the backup, and I know Coach Gideon's okay with you looking at me and seeing how gassed I am, because I might also be a starter on offense or defense, and when you go to me and say, you know, I'm going to just take one rep off, I'm going to let him take a rep on kickoff, and I trust that guy in kickoff, okay, we're going to own this position together. So that's what this is. Also, like I said before, as far as every day is game day, there are certain portions of special teams where I will literally have competitions every single day, or at least every week. So one is timed kicker blocker tryouts. Okay, so whether it's a circuit or a certain point in the season, I'll say, okay, we're going to race guys, we're going to judge your technique because this week is a big opportunity to block your kick. We're going to have tryouts. We're going to time guys to get from a certain point, let's say a cone that we think that's going to be the edge vulnerability for their against their punt team. And we're going to time you guys, and the guys that are the fastest and the guys that have the right technique, that's the guy who wins that job that week. Offensive line, if we're working in a circuit where they have to snap down into position for PAT field goal, we're calling out the last guy and the first guy because they're competing there. Different guys competing different ways. This is also really important for me every single week, especially because these are pressure positions. So snapper, holder, and kicker, if you are fortunate enough to have more than one group of three, I have those guys competing every week. So we judge them, and we can chart them, we have to be the means to do that. If you have a manager or you have an extra coach that is available to do that, and we take a look at their consistency, look at their speed, and if somebody's struggling in the game, I'm not opposed to pulling that guy, which I think a lot of people might be afraid to do, and then putting the next guy in. Long snappers are an important example for me. So in 2013, when we won the state championship, I probably had those two guys switch 4 different times that season. It's a little bit like a basketball player. Sometimes long snappers get in a little bit of a rut, and they're off for a while. They have to be refocused. One of the best ways to refocus is to give guys consequences. So I'm going to put the next guy in and give him a shot. And that refocuses the guy who got fired, essentially. So whether it's that, whether it's some of our circuits that we do that I'm going to explain, I'm constantly trying to put them in positions to compete, which also makes the game a little less overwhelming for those guys. So let's just do a little bit of off-season stuff. In the off-season, the spring and the summer, we've done a lot of circuit work, and we have a special team station. Usually kids will come through, they start in a 90-second mode, and then we get that down to maybe a minute or less. And so they rotate through, let's say, 6 circuits. That's also part conditioning as you get closer to camp. And so these are a couple of the circuits that we do. They're not necessarily always particular to special teams. So a lot of you guys probably have done inside-out leverage tackling or tap. What I would say as a defensive coach is tap the knee. Sometimes we say tap the hip, but if you tap the knee, I think you have to get lower. What's unique in special teams is a lot of times you have to have outside-in leverage. So if you're a punt coverage person, you can't lose outside leverage. If you're on the kickoff, typically most positions can't lose outside leverage. And so we'll do an outside leverage drill where one guy's the runner, the other guy's the tackler, and we have a progression.